Hey y'all, we are gonna do our final video on our resin testing for Less Resin, J Diction, and Teakspert. These were in the sunlight. These have been stored in a box, in a closet, away from any light exposure. And it's been, let's see, 21, 22, 23 days now. So let's start with those that were in the closet. We went over these, how clear they were. This is Less Resin. Super clear, no bubbling, very good. Still that way after 21 days. In a box, in a closet. J Diction had very minimal bubbles that came up in them, but nothing that we couldn't deal with. Still very clear, looks great. And then we have Teakspert. Teakspert had some micro bubbles in it, but I think it's something that we could work with and get to a clear point without a problem. So Teakspert came in last. J Diction, having a few micro bubbles, came in second, and Less Resin was by far the clearest with no micro bubbles at all. So they're first for our closet ones. Now let's look at the ones that were in the sun. Looking today, I don't see yellowing. Maybe a tinge. There's a tinge here and a tinge here. This is very clear. So these are the ones that were in the sun, and I don't know if you can see a difference or see a very little tinge there, but the very clear one is Teakspert, and you see all the micro bubbles in this one, but very super clear, no yellowing after 21 days of exposure. Next we have J Diction, and you can see a little yellowing, just a tint. It's not really bad after 21 days. And we do have some micro bubbles in it. So 3 because of the micro bubbles, but number 1 for yellowing. This has micro bubbles, I would say 2. And then this is our Less Resin, which you don't see bubbles, but it does have some yellowing. Again, I really think it's just a tinge, just a little tint. Let's compare them with the ones that were in the closet that don't have yellowing and see if we can tell. Very little, like a very, very little tint looking at it. What do you think? Can you see any difference? I see just a little tinge of yellow, but not hardly anything at all compared to what I thought would be. So that's Less Resin. This is the closet, this is the outside. The bubbles stayed gone, didn't create bubbles. So that's Less Resin. J Diction. Let's look at those together. I don't, just like I said, a very tiny tinge or a tint of yellow, but not a lot. And you see the micro bubbles, but nothing that we couldn't live with. So really good. So we'll put those down. Then we'll look at Teakspert. Teakspert, perfectly clear. I'm like really shocked. No yellowing whatsoever, not even a tint of yellow, but you see all the micro bubbles in it. So there's a trade-off for that. So that's our test, guys. I would have to say that Less Resin is first because it is just so clear. And the amount, the little tint of yellow, man, I would say yellow doesn't come into play for any 3 of these, to be honest. That is, normally, I mean, you're not gonna have your piece sit in sunlight, right? Not gonna happen. So that would be your pour with Less Resin for most of your pieces because they're not gonna go outside. So I say Less Resin is first, and then I say that J Diction is second, only because of the bubbles compared to Teakspert. But as far as yellowing, I think they're all the same. This did have some micro bubbling in it, you can tell. So I say that's second. And then I put Teak Spurt last. But still, very good. And it's at a very affordable price, y'all. I mean, these resins for the price that you're paying I highly recommend them. They're great. Like I said, the micro bubbles, there are things we can do to try to work some of this out, and it would be fine. I've used Teak Spurt in the past and I haven't had issues with that. I've been able to get it bubble free, so I know that's possible. But that is our test, all done. Maybe in 6 months we'll take another gander. I'm still gonna let them expose, put them in the closet like they were, and maybe in 6 months we'll pull them out and do another update. But until then, y'all have fun arting. I have a new project coming, be on the lookout. Make sure you do all the YouTube things so you don't miss that one. Until then, ta-ta for now.